Uh, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. Sorry for the delay today due to some reason. Uh, uh, Namo Buddhaya, Sneha ji, Priya ji, welcome. Sneha ji, welcome. Deep ji, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We will start our session now for 15 minutes of Vipassana meditation. On your screen, you can see the instructions on Vipassana meditation as we did yesterday. So I will not repeat the instructions one by one now, but I will do the guided meditation. So Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. So I hope my voice is audible. Sure. So let us close your eyes. Let us close our eyes. Be comfortable. Spine should be straight. Eyes should be closed or half closed. And gently bring your awareness on the breathing, on the abdomen, and just be aware of the rising and falling of the abdomen as we breathe in and breathe out. You can label it as rising, falling, or as in, out, whichever you want. Don't change the pattern of the breathing. Just be aware of the movement of the abdomen. Rising, falling. Just note it mentally. Full attention on the movement of the abdomen. As the abdomen rises, note it as rising. As the abdomen falls, note it as falling. Keep noting rising and falling. Bring your complete awareness to this noting of the rising and falling. Keep noting rising, falling. And as you find your mind getting concentrated, you can just be open and note whatever is arising in this present moment. It can be a pain, so you can note it as pain, or any sensation, you can note it as sensation, or any thought, you can note it as thought. If the mind is not yet concentrated, you can keep your awareness on the rising and falling of the abdomen. Keep noting whatever is arising in this present moment with equanimity. Keep noting anything that arises. We don't crave for pleasurable sensations. We don't run away from unpleasurable sensations. We just watch them with equanimity. Total mindfulness. The mind is confused. Note it as confused. As we note whatever is arising in the present moment, we realize that we cannot hold to anything. Everything is just arising and passing away. If you're feeling bored, note it as bored, bored. If you're feeling frustrated, note it as frustrated, frustrated. If the mind is still, note it as still, still. Keep noting whatever is arising. Don't grasp at anything. Don't run away from anything. Just keep noting. Keep noting whatever is rising. Keep noting whatever is arising, any thought, any pain, any sensation in this moment. And now we come to the end of the meditation. If you wish, you can take an intention that whatever merit you have generated from this meditation may it go out to all the beings who are suffering. May they be free from suffering. May they find peace. And whenever you are comfortable, you can open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, be fully aware of your eyelids opening. And this mindfulness that we have generated, we need to carry this mindfulness in our day-to-day life. Okay. Okay. So I hope the meditation was good. In case anyone has any questions, please feel free to unmute and ask any questions, anything you were not able to do, any difficulty you faced. Fine. So we will start the book reading and okay, headache is fine, Sneha ji. Just it's a clearing that happens. Uh, okay, okay. Thank you so much. Some bit of headache is fine. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so
Namo Buddhaya, Vinodji.
fine. So we will start the book reading now, and this is the book "Old Path, White Clouds" by Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh, and we continue the reading. This is page 370, and yesterday we okay. Okay, Priya ji, you were not able to do it. Yes, little bit concentration. Yes, yes. So, see, we started with noting of the rise and fall of the abdomen. So, initially, if your concentration level is not getting built, you should continue with the noting of the rising and falling of the abdomen. With consistent noting and with consistent practice, you will develop the concentration by noting just the rising and falling of the abdomen, right? Which is basically mindfulness of breathing, right? And as your concentration develops, then you can do this vipassana where you can just be aware of whatever is arising, right? So just right now for focus for the 15 minutes and uh, make it even a kind of a more diligent in your practice to get that level of concentration where from you can uh, just observe whatever is arising. So yes, and wherever you feel that your concentration level is dropping, even in vipassana, your concentration level is going down, any difficult memories arising or some difficult pain arising, come back to the abdomen and note the rising and falling of the abdomen. So today my meditation, now the meditation states also change. So today, yesterday, the depth I was, thank you so much. The depth that I was achieving in my meditation today, it was not that deep. So I was kind of feeling a bit, you know, this is natural tendency of the mind. No, mind makes you cling to certain things. And I was like thinking that today it's not, it's not getting deep. So I noted that uh, kind of frustrated state of my mind that why it's not deep. So immediate thing what has arisen at that moment was my frustration in my mind that it should have been something else and it is not like that. So I just immediately noted it, right? So similar way, and if you do like this, then your meditation will never fail, right? Every moment, and slowly we get this idea that we are not one person. I'm not Abhinav. I am just a like a collection of my thoughts and a lot of things. It's just appearing from moment to moment. I don't have a separate self. It's just a bundle of kind of things that are arising and feeding away. Only my problem is, and this is I'm general, I'm not responding to only your question. It's only my craving for pleasurable experiences and my running away from something which is unpleasurable that is arising in my daily life also. That craving or the aversion is keeping me binding and creating suffering for me. Just think for a moment, if in this moment we are totally okay with whatever is arising, it is like running against the stream, being totally okay with whatever is arising, all the problems vanish. All the problems, you may be having a lot of problems in your life. Everyone has some or the other. But in this moment, if I'm okay with whatever is arising in this moment in my life, then the problem is gone. But no, my unhelpful tendencies that are strongly rooted in me, it says, no, Abhinav, you should be doing something else. What are you doing? Right? You have made a wrong decision, Abhinav. Right? So I note even that tendency in me that says, Abhinav, you are an idiot. You are doing this wrong. You should have done something else. Right? So the various mind games, right? And when we shine the light of awareness on our mind like this, on the tendencies like this, they start to clear off. It's like you take a scrubber and you clean maybe the wash basin or something. You take a scrubber and you clean. So we clean our mind from these unhelpful tendencies, right? So this is, again, this is why, and this is the deep work. This is real deep work that we are doing here, right? And the longer you sit, the more you'll see. So you have sit for 15 minutes. The longer you can stretch for like 30 minutes or 1 hour, the deeper the benefits, because then the mind is becoming more and more concentrated, right? And the clearing becomes, the scrubbing becomes even more effective, right? So this is the thing. Okay, just to give a context on this practice. Okay, so let us start. It is page 370. So
Abhinav ji.
Deepji, I think I asked him yesterday for reading one para or something. Deepji, if you want to read, you can read. Please, one para if
No,
you want to read.
you please. I have a little query.
You have the book with you.
Yes, I have the book with me.
Okay, I
But
think
please
I
you
am
read,
not able
please
to
you read.
hear you. Okay, my audio is very weak. Okay. Yes. Do you want to read one para, please?
No, 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 Abhinav ji,
Okay.
you read, please.
Okay.
But I have a query.
Yes. Please tell me.
Yes, like when a thought arises,
Yeah.
uh, that might be related to desire or greed.
Yes.
So then what to label? Greed, or thought.
Yes. Yes. So it basically what Mahasi says is you can keep it as a thought, or you can keep it as a desire, but don't take it even to the next level, desire of the next promotion or looking into what that desire is. We don't want to go to that level. Basically, what we are doing, this labeling of, it's just, it helps. As I said earlier, also, it's for a beginner, right? We are all beginners, right? So it helps us to just, that labeling, that word helps us to kind of anchor our awareness on that particular thing that is arising. Even that word is not necessary, but don't go into like mind can make you that I should note that desire of X or desire of Y. We don't go in that direction. We just note it as thought, or at most desire, or greed. I would not even do that, because then somewhere it's a thin line between desire and greed, right? So I would not go into that, right? Just note it as thought, or memory, pain, sensation. What works for me is that, a lot of times what comes to my consciousness is sitting. This fact that I'm sitting, right? It's basically why I'm sitting is because the air element has risen in me. Why we get drowsy? The air element goes out. It's like, you have these balloons. You fill the air in them and they are like stretched. And the air element goes, and the earth element, when it starts becoming active, then we start feeling drowsy. So when I notice my sitting, that sitting, or I notice my hips touching the chair, touching, right? So just note what exactly is arising right now, but don't go too much into finding out what exactly I should note. That is again the mind getting into that perfectionist mode, that I should note. No, that's not the aim. Just aim is just to be aware. Even if you don't want to kind of do it like word wise, that's also fine, right? Okay, fine. So we start the book reading.
And sometimes there is
Yeah.
nothing to label.
Yes, exactly. If there is nothing to
Totally
label,
empty. Then,
yes, if there is nothing to label, uh, you can note the mind as still. Then again, there is a possibility there is nothing to label, but the mind is not still. So there, the best thing is to come back to the abdomen and note the rising falling, because the rising falling is consistently happening. So we need to anchor ourselves to the present moment, and the best way to anchor ourselves is the movement of the belly, because that belly movement is consistently happening. So either note, if mind is still, note it as still. That also you'll note it will not be still more than say 30 seconds in one, right? Uh, or 1 minute. Then the mind will again, thoughts will come. So uh, this consistent way, we just note how the states of mind are changing. Everything is changing, right? So that is we do. Just a second. So I will start the book reading. Just a second. Okay. This is page 370, Appearance of Morning Star, the chapter that we are discussing. When Patakara presented her poem to Sister Mahapajapati, the abbess gave it her deepest praises. Sister Upavalana was another bhikkhuni who came to the Dhamma after great suffering, thanks to the. Uh, yeah, I think Deepji would not. Yeah, Snehaji is writing that, accent is so Bengali. So I think Deepji, you must be from Bengal, or yeah.
yes, yes, I'm from Bengal.
Yes, yes, yes.
Bengali.
Yes, yes, yes. That I could also gather. Okay. So Sister Upavalana was another bhikkhuni who came to the Dhamma after great suffering, thanks to the efforts of Venerable Moggallana. She was a woman of uncommon beauty, even with her head shaved. She was most diligent in her practice and one of Abbess Pajapati's finest assistants. Venerable Moggallana met Sister Upavalana one day while she was walking past the city park. She was standing there, a flower of the night. She was known to men as beautiful lotus. Indeed, her beauty surpassed that of even the most lovely lotus flower. But Venerable Moggallana saw the suffering in her eyes. He knew she hid many sorrows in her heart. He stopped and said, "You are indeed beautiful and dressed in the finest garments, but I can see that you are filled with suffering and confusion. Your burden is heavy." And I'm relating this to when Buddha saw Ambapali. Uh, so then the other bhikkhus, she was very beautiful, and other bhikkhus, they either looked at her with a lust, or they could not look at her. But Buddha, when he looked at her, he looked at the suffering that she was facing. So this is like kind of related to that. You are indeed beautiful and dressed in the finest garments, but I can see that you are filled with suffering and confusion. Your burden is heavy, and yet you continue to pursue a path that leads to even more darkness. Upavalana was taken aback by Mughala's ability to read her innermost thoughts. Okay, this ability actually comes in as you deepen your practice, ability to comprehend others' suffering, another's mind, that abilities come. But she pretended to be nonplussed and retorted, "Perhaps what you say is true, but this is the only path I have." Moglana said, "Why be so pessimistic? No matter what your past has been like, you can transform yourself and create a better future. Soiled clothes can be washed. A heart burdened by confusion and weariness can be purified by the waters of enlightenment. The Buddha teaches that everyone has the capacity to awaken and find peace and joy." Upavalana began to weep. "But my life is filled with sinful deeds and injustices. I am afraid that even the Buddha cannot help me." Muglana comforted her. "Don't worry, please share your story with me." Upavalana told Venerable Muglana that she was the daughter of a wealthy family. She was married at 16. Soon after her husband's father died, her mother-in-law began sleeping with her own son, Upavalana's husband. Upavlana gave birth to a daughter, but unable to endure the incestuous relationship of her husband and mother-in-law, she ran away, leaving her daughter behind. Some years later, she met and married a merchant. When she learned he was secretly keeping a concubine, she investigated until she uncovered the horrible truth that his concubine was the very daughter he had abandoned years earlier. Her pain and bitterness was so great that she began to hate all the world. She no longer loved or trusted anyone. She became a courtesan and sought money, jewels, and material pleasures for solace. She confessed she had even been thinking of trying to seduce Moglana when he passed by as a means to expose humanity's false virtue. Beautiful Lotus covered her face and sobbed. Moglana let her cry to ease her pain. Then he spoke to her about the Dhamma and took her to meet the Buddha. The Buddha spoke words of comfort to her and asked if she would like to study with the bhikkhunis under the guidance of Abbess Gautami. She was ordained and after only 4 years of diligent practice was considered by all as an exceptional example for everyone. Okay, so this completes this chapter. We move to chapter 56, and this is actually the very good chapter on full awareness of breathing. Anapansati, this basically consists the knowledge of the Anapansati Sutta that Buddha gave on the full moon. Sometimes the Buddha or one of his senior disciples gave a Dhamma talk at the Bhikkhunis monastery. Once a month, the Bhikkhunis also attended Dhamma discourses at Jetavana or Eastern Park. One year, thanks to a suggestion made by Venerable Sariputta, the Buddha extended the retreat season an extra month. Sariputta knew that by extending the retreat 1 month, many bhikkhus and bhikkhunis from distant centers would be able to travel to Savatthi for direct teaching from the Buddha after they had concluded the retreats at their own centers. And indeed, many came. Lay patrons Sudatta, Vishakha, and Mallika used all the means in their disposal to provide food and dwelling for nearly 3,000 monks and nuns. The Pavarana ceremony, held at the end of each rainy season retreat, fell on the full moon day of the month of Katika that year, rather than Yuja. When the full moon day of Katika arrived, Kumudi flowers were blossoming everywhere. Because the Kumudi, a white lotus, always blossomed at the same time each year, the full moon day of Katika was called the Kumudi day. That evening, the Buddha and his 3,000 disciples sat beneath the radiant full moon. The delicate fragrance of lotus flowers drifted up from the lake. The bhikkhus and bhikkhunis sat silently as the Buddha looked out over the community and praised them for their diligence. This is the image, beautiful image that is there that Buddha was sitting with the bhikkhus. Okay. Buddha used this special occasion to deliver the sutta on the full awareness of breathing. This is given in the Middle Discourses 118, MN 118. You can type suttacentral.net/MN118. This is available. Of course, every bhikkhu and bhikkhuni present had been taught the method on awareness of breathing. But this was the first time that most of them had the opportunity to hear this teaching directly from the Buddha. This was also the first time the Buddha compiled and summarized all his previous teachings on the awareness of breathing. Venerable Ananda listened intently, knowing that this sutta would be an important one to transmit to all the Sangha's centers. Bhikkhuni Yashodhara, Rahula's mother, and his sister Bhikkhuni Sundarinanda were amongst those assembled. They both had been ordained several years earlier under the guidance of Bhikkhuni Gautami. They practiced in a monastery north of Kapilvastu, founded by Bhikkhuni Gautami. Yashodhara had requested to be ordained just 6 months after her mother-in-law, and after 1 year of practice, she became one of Yashodhara's Buddha's wife. She became one of Bhikkhuni Gautami's chief assistants. Bhikkhunis did their best to attend all the retreat seasons in Savatthi in order to receive direct teaching from the Buddha and his senior disciples. Queen Mallika and Lady Vishakha were wholehearted supporters of the nuns. For 2 years, the nuns were given a place at the imperial gardens to stay. But by the third year, they had their own nunnery, thanks to the generous patronage of the Queen and Lady Vishakha. Because she was growing old, Bhikkhuni Gautami devoted careful attention to the training new leaders amongst the Bhikkhunis, including Bhikkhunis Yashodhara, Sela, Vimala, Soma, Mutta, Naduktara. All of them were present that evening in Eastern Park. Venerable Swasti was introduced to Sister Yashodhara and Sister Sundarinanda by Venerable Rahula. He was deeply moved to meet them at last because he had heard all the stories about Yashodhara and Buddha's early times. So meeting them personally was a big thing. The Buddha delivered the sutra. Bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, the method of the full awareness of breathing, if developed and practiced continuously, will bring great rewards and advantages. It will lead to success in practicing the four establishments of mindfulness, which is Middle Discourses 10, Satipatthana Sutta, and the seven factors of awakening, which will give rise to understanding and liberation. One practice is as follows. The first breath. Now here there are some 16 exercises that the Buddha gave on the breathing, right? So when you breathe, it's like we just breathe the in and out breath. That is like the start. Then there are many deep things that are there. So everything is coming out here. The first breath, breathing in a long breath, I know I'm breathing in a long breath. Breathing out a long breath, I know I'm breathing out a long breath. That means just being aware that it's a long breath, just that awareness. The second breath, breathing in a short breath, I know I'm breathing in a short breath. Breathing out a short breath, I know I'm breathing out a short breath. These two breaths enable you to cut through forgetfulness, and unnecessary thinking, at the same time giving rise to mindfulness and enabling you to encounter life in the present moment. Just I'll interrupt. You may be in midst of all the confusion in your life, in your job, in your work. Just take out this moment and be aware of the in breath and the out breath. You will immediately feel your mind clearing, a certain peace. Only one or two breaths. Just bring yourself to the breathing. Yes? Yeah, Snehaji, it's very powerful. Right? So, forgetfulness is the absence of mindfulness. Breathing with awareness enables us to return to ourselves and to life. The third breath, breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I'm aware of my whole body. Right? Breathing in, awareness of the body. This breathing enables you to contemplate the body and be in direct contact with your own body. Awareness of the whole body and awareness of every part of the body allows you to see the wondrous presence of your body and the process of birth and death unfolding in your body. The fourth breath, I'm breathing in and making my whole body calm and at peace. When you talk about the body, again, beautiful practice is whenever there is confusion outside, come back to the body, come back to this body, right? And just watch the sensations that are arising. That is the practice, mindfulness of the body. Fourth breath, I'm breathing in and making my whole body calm and at peace. That means with each breath, I'm making my body calm. I'm I'm breathing out and making my whole body calm and at peace. This breath helps you to realize calmness and peace in the body and arrive at a state in which the mind, body, and breath are one harmonious reality. The biggest problem is our mind is going somewhere else, body is going somewhere else, breath is basically kind of where the mind is, the breath accordingly changes. So our mind and body are you know somewhere else. So our task is, and we want peace, right? Only for those who want peace, right? In the chaos, is to bring mind and body at one place. Either you can bring yourself directly to the body, or you can just be aware of the breath. When you become aware of the breath, the mind and body come together at that time, right? Okay. This breath helps you to realize calmness and peace in the body and arrive at a state in which mind, body, breath are one harmonious reality. Fifth breath, I'm breathing in and feeling joyful. I'm breathing out and feeling joyful. It's like arising of joy. These are the seven factors. Now we come to the seven factors. Sixth breath, breathing in and feeling happy. I'm breathing out and feeling happy. With these two breaths, you cross into the domain of feelings. These two breaths create peace and joy that can nourish mind and body. Thanks to the cessation of dispersion and forgetfulness, you return to yourself, aware of the present moment. Happiness and joy arises within you. You dwell in the wonders of life, able to taste the peace and joy mindfulness brings. Thanks to this encounter, so basically Thai says it so well that you don't have to go anywhere. That peace and joy is there right now. Yes, there are situations, problems in our life, but if this moment I can make my, like I'm in a desert, but there is still some space where in between, in a desert, I create my can I can create my own kind of oasis of peace, right? through this mindfulness. Yes, sure, I will share the picture of this page. I will definitely share, and I will also share the Thais video on this. What he had given a short teaching video on this thing. I will share definitely. Okay. Thanks to this encounter with the wonders of life, you are able to transform neutral feelings into pleasant feelings. These two breaths thus lead to pleasant feelings. The seventh breath, I am breathing in and I'm aware of the activities of the mind in me. I'm breathing out and I'm aware of the activities of the mind in me. The eighth breath, I'm breathing in and making the activities of the mind in me calm and at peace. I'm breathing out and making the activities of the mind in me calm and at peace. These two breaths enable you to look deeply at all the feelings arising within you, whether they are pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and enable you to make those feelings calm and at peace. The activities of the mind mean, in this case, the feelings. When you are aware of the feelings and can see deeply into the roots and the nature, you can control them and make them calm and at peace, even though they may be unpleasant thoughts, which arise from desire, anger, and jealousy. The ninth breath, I am breathing in and I'm aware of my mind. I'm breathing out and I'm aware of my mind. This is all corresponding to the Middle Discourses 10, Satipatthana Sutta, where basically I'm now becoming aware of my mind, my feelings. Breathing, I've already been aware. The 10th breath, I'm breathing in and making my mind happy and at peace. I'm breathing out and making my mind happy and at peace. 11th breath, I'm breathing in and concentrating my mind. I'm breathing out and concentrating my mind. The 12th breath, I'm breathing in and liberating my mind. I'm breathing out and liberating my mind. With these four breaths, you cross into the third domain, which is the mind. Ninth breath enables you to recognize all states of the mind, such as perception, thinking, discrimination, happiness, sadness, and doubt. You observe and recognize these states in order to see deeply into the mind's activities. When the mind's activities are observed and recognized, you are able to concentrate your mind, making it quiet and at peace. This is brought about by the 10th and 11th breaths. The 12th breath enables you to release all obstacles of the mind. This comes to the objects of the mind in Satipatthana Sutta. 12th breath enables you to release all obstacles. Thanks to illuminating your mind, you can see the roots of all mental formations and thus overcome all obstacles. The 13th breath, I'm breathing in, observing the impermanent nature of all dharmas. That means everything. Dharma means everything that arises. I'm breathing out and observing the impermanent nature of all dharmas. Basically, the impermanence. 14th breath, I'm breathing in and observing the feeding of all dharmas. I'm breathing out and observing the feeding of all dharmas. The 15th breath, I'm breathing in and contemplating liberation. I'm breathing out and contemplating liberation. 16th breath, I'm breathing in and contemplating letting go. I'm breathing in and contemplating, breathing out and contemplating letting go. With these four breaths, the practitioner passes into the domain of the objects of the mind and concentrates the mind in order to observe the true nature of all dharmas. What is the true nature of all dharmas? Impermanence, just arising and passing away. First is the observation of the impermanent nature of the dharmas. Because all dharmas are impermanent, they must all fade. When you clearly understand the impermanent and fading nature of all the dharmas, you are no longer bound by the endless cycle of birth and death. Thanks to that, you can let go and attain liberation. Letting go does not mean to disdain or run away from life. Letting go means letting go of craving and clinging so that you do not suffer from the endless cycle of rebirth, birth and death, to which all dharmas are subject. Once you have let go and attained liberation, you can live in peace and joy in the very midst of life. There is no longer anything that binds you. Buddha said that once a person becomes an arahant, fully liberated being, then he achieves nirvana. He cannot return back to the conditioned state of existence. It's like everything is ended, rebirth is ended. So taught the Buddha how to observe deeply the body, feelings, minds, objects of mind through the 16 methods of conscious breathing. He also applied the 16 exercises to the practice of the 7 factors of awakening, which is full attention, investigating dharmas, energy, joy, ease, concentration, and letting go. Venerable Swasti had already heard the sutta on the 4 establishments of mindfulness. He now felt that thanks to the sutta on the full awareness of breathing, he could more deeply penetrate the 4 establishments. He saw how these two sutras complemented one another and how fundamental they both were to the practice of meditation. So, very, very important. MN10 and MN118. Both are very, very important sutras. 3,000 bhikkhus and bhikkhunis joyously received the Buddha's teaching that night beneath the light, beneath the light of the full moon. Swasti's heart filled with gratitude to Venerable Sariputta for having made this night possible. One day, Venerable Ahimsaka returned from the. Who is Venerable Ahimsaka? He was the Angulimal that we discussed in some previous sessions. He got totally, his mind got changed when he interacted with the Buddha, and his name became Ahimsak because he became so full of compassion. Angulimal was the person that bandit, that dacoit was there. Ahimsaka was returned from begging, covered with blood, and barely able to walk. Swasti ran to help him. Ahimsaka asked to be taken to the Buddha. He explained that when he was out begging in the city, some people recognized him as the former Angulimal. They cornered him and began to beat him. Ahimsaka did not resist the blows, but joined his hands to form a lotus bud while allowing them to vent their anger and hatred. They battered him until he was vomiting blood. When the Buddha saw that Ahimsaka was hurt, he called to Anand to get a basin of water and towel to wash away the blood. He asked Swasti to gather medicinal leaves to make into poultices to place on Ahimsaka's wounds. Although he was in great pain, the Venerable Ahimsaka did not cry out. The Buddha said, your sufferings today can rinse all of the sufferings of the past. Enduring sufferings in love and awareness can erase the bitter hatred of 1,000 lifetimes. Ahimsaka, your robe has been torn to shreds. Where is your bowl? Lord, they shattered it. I will ask Ananda to find your new robe and bowl. I will just continue this and then we will close. This is just half a page more. Lord, they shattered it. I will ask Ananda to find you a new robe and bowl. As Swasti applied poultices to Ahimsaka's wounds, he realized what an example of non-violence Ahimsaka was. Venerable Ahimsaka told Swasti a story that had taken place only the day before he was out begging. Beneath the tree in the forest, Ahimsaka encountered a woman in labor. She was in extreme pain and unable to give birth to a child. Ahimsaka cried out such terrible pain and ran to the Buddha. What could be done? The Buddha said, run back to her and tell her, Madam, from the day I was born, I have never intentionally harmed any living being. By that merit, may you and your child be peaceful and safe. Ahimsaka protested, I would be lying if I said such a thing. The truth is, I have harmed a great many living beings. This is so important. The Buddha said, then go and tell her, Madam, since the day I was born in the noble Dhamma, I have never intentionally harmed any living being. By that merit, may you and your child be peaceful and safe. So, Ahimsaka ran back to the forest and spoke those words. Within a few minutes, the woman safely gave birth to her child. Venerable Ahimsaka had traveled far along the path, earning the Buddha's highest praises, and he became an arhat. Very shortly after his practice, he became a full liberated being. And that's why Buddha's teaching is so much into this, that before coming to the Dhamma, we might have made several mistakes, several things. May have killed people in our past lives. Right? We may have harmed people, stole, did sexual misconduct. But, and we might be doing in the present life also. But the giving up, the quality, the intention of giving up is a very, very big intention that we take, right? Which kind of erases a lot the past that had been done, right? So we do not kind of always keep brooding about my past and what I have done. From this day, I just give up killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, drinking. At least the five things, right? Okay. So this is we will close it here and sure. And we will continue the rest today. Tomorrow, if anyone has any questions, any sharing, please feel free to share. It's beautiful, the verses, what Buddha said, and the full awareness of breathing. Just give me a second till the time, if anyone has anything. Yes, okay. Just laugh. Thank you so much for the comments. Vipassana, you can join Vipassana meditation if you want to do. You can join our live session. And just a second, I will share the link with you. This link you can apply to our sangha if you want to join. It contains a link for that. Shashank, please do that. Yes, yes, you used to steal, but you stopped. It's been 5 years. That's great. That's like we have to, when we come onto the path of Dhamma, and we become more aware of whatever I'm doing in my business, in my job. Does it involve stealing? Can I change it? If not, then I'll have to look for another job. If my job or my business involves stealing or harming others, then I have to make those changes, right? So, sure, sure, fine. So I hope this helped reading. And we meet tomorrow then. I think there's sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Namo Buddhaya. Thank you so much. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye. Namo Buddhaya.